This is Wellington Day today. How you going, Dave?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Well, I'm alive. Just survived the tea dance, dog tea dance. So to start with, the weather. Let's get that out of the road. The weather was wet and windy. And it reminded me a lot of when I went to Seattle a few years ago where it rained for 5 days in a row. Still, wasn't unpleasant. So one of the expectations I had, I'm on holidays, right? So one of the expectations was to have a hookup with somebody in Wellington. And we had set this up via social media weeks in advance. And it came to the day and I was like, checking in with him and he's like, yeah, sure, no problems. And so I get to Wellington and we arrange 10 o'clock to be a time. And I get there in Wellington like, okay, so I'm here. And he's all like, not answering. And so I'm stuck here going, all right, so while he's not answering, I need to find out what I'm going to do. A lot of people on the ship were going to museums, cultural museums. But for me, I was feeling after dancing so much the night before, and the day before at the dog tea dance, a back massage was definitely in order. So I had a bit of a walk around town and did a Google search and found a massage place, and I had a beautiful massage which only cost me $50, which opposed to being on the ship and ship got to make their money. At the spa there, it's like $160. So I saved myself a bit of money as well. By the time I'd finished my massage, I got a text from him and he sort of said, oh, sorry, I was busy. And then he started like laying all these stuff on me like, oh, I'm only available for an hour now, but I'm available after 3 o'clock. And I sort of said, we had sort of scheduled this in and I understand things come up, so it just obviously wasn't going to work out. Funny story though, I got back on ship and I met this guy who was a doctor and lovely guy, and he was telling me about his day. So I said, what did you get up to? He said, oh, I met this guy on social media and we had a hookup. And I was just thinking, I wonder if that was the guy that was supposed to be meeting me. Anyway, so here's the interesting story. Remember how I told you in my first vlog that I had chipped the front of my tooth eating nerds on the plane on the way to Auckland? So now that this guy wasn't going to meet me, I'm like, what do I do? And I walked past this dentist and I thought, wow, I've got a couple of hours up my sleeve. What chance would it be if I walked in and they had an appointment on that day right there and then? And I thought, the chances are probably unlikely, but you never know unless you ask. So I walked in and I spoke with the receptionist, who was very nice. And I said, did you have an appointment today? So she said, we have nothing available today. And I was like, no problems. And as I was walking out, she goes, oh, hang on, there's a place around the corner. Maybe they could fit you in. So she rings up and they said, sure, we've got an appointment at 2:30, which was only an hour and a half wait. So I walked around town a bit and then I walked into this place early and I thought, I'll just watch YouTube on my phone or something like that. So I walked in and I explained who I was and explained my situation. And the lady said, well, actually, we finished this customer earlier, so we could fit you in now. So I've just gotten there. They whisked me into the room. I have the consultation and then they fixed the front of my tooth. And within half an hour, bang, I was done. And so I was so happy to get that done because even though the front of the tooth, you really couldn't tell that much. I mean, I could obviously because it was my tooth. But even on the inside, when I ate it, it just felt funny when anything was brushing up against it. It wasn't a major chip, but any slight thing, because your teeth are so sensitive, it affects it. So I was super happy. My confidence in my looks had improved, had gone up a couple of notches, and so I was very happy with the outcome of that. I just did a lot of walking around town to get a feel of what Wellington was all about. And some really interesting impressions I had. Number one, it looks like a university town. There's lots of pubs and clubs and lots of live band venues, which is very rare to see these days in Australia anyway. So I was really super impressed with that. It just had a really underground sort of, indie vibe about it. And I really, really like that. For lunch, I went to a market and had Vietnamese chicken po, and that was really nice. Just what I needed after my big day yesterday. So I got back to the ship by about 3:30. It was still pretty early. We didn't really have to get back till about 5 or something like that. So I just grabbed a couple of beers, still wasn't feeling too good, and I met up with a couple of friends and we just had chats. I wanted to share with you our daily program and just some of the activities that if I wasn't on shore that I probably would have joined in on. At 1 o'clock, I would have had to go to the Mahjong. And at 5:30, the bartender's choice cocktail sampling. This was a really interesting thing because a lot of people were going to it. I think it sold out. And what you did is you basically got in a jumpsuit, a plastic jumpsuit, and you went around to 4 different bars and sampled different cocktails. Again, just another way of meeting people. At 7 o'clock, there was a singles meet, which I missed. And another interesting thing is that different parts of New Zealand, they have like gaming license restrictions. So for a couple of days, we weren't even allowed to play the pokies or play any poker, which was really interesting. So I just thought I'd share those thoughts with you.